Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by the Leadership Doctors, Dr. Shika Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REAL Resilient framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REAL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out. The Leadership Doctors alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water succinctly, creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in the Leadership Doctors to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with the Leadership Doctors describe them as an excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
It's Super Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 149 of the REALL Academy with your Systems Doctors, HERS, brought to you by Create and Educate. I am Dr. Shika Houston.
And I am Dr. Tammy Taylor. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning.
And good morning, everyone. We are pre-recording today. Tammy's going to it's the summer, so she's traveling out of town with her family. So we had to pre-record today, and so we won't have our usual roll call, but we thank each and every one of you who did not find it robbery to join us, as you always do every Saturday, and we truly appreciate our REALL Academy family. Before we get started with our guest, we wanted to shout out one of the districts that we've been working with. As you heard from the promo video, we work and specialize in systems, and we have been working with Marion County School District, helping, this is their phenomenal superintendent, Dr. Candace Bethay. She has a great vision of leadership for her district and for her leaders in her district. Dr. Bethay is the superintendent, but she has a phenomenal team of leaders at the district level with her, Dr. Bunch, Dr. Tracy Holcomb. And we had the pleasure over the past 2 days to lead their leadership retreat with the phenomenal principals and assistant principals and some of the other district support there in the district. So we really, really enjoyed that.
Yes, it was 2 days of absolute magnificence. We were working with some of the best educators, as our brother, Principal Sean Hurt, says, in the world. We really enjoyed the time, and we enjoyed learning alongside them, but also pouring into them as they are preparing for the coming school year. And it was like, just the energy was so charged, and
Mhm.
just a powerful 2 days of true learning and the opportunity to see these educators engaged in making decisions about what's going to get them to the next level in their schools, and watching this unfold with these, as Shika said, phenomenal superintendent there with them, pouring into them and making sure that they have exactly what they need to be successful in the next school year and the years to come. It was a really incredible experience.
It was, and it was just refreshing to see that her vision incorporated that what we talk about, several times on our platform, a real retreat. It wasn't just a meeting in the form of a retreat. It was an actual retreat, and the work that those leaders put in, their passion around their visions, and all of the work that we did over the past 2 days, I know that they are going to see some phenomenal results. And two of the schools that we've been working with over the past year have already experienced growth. So shout out to those leaders. Just keep up the great work. And
Yes.
we are enjoying working alongside you. I have to show my shirt, my Marion County School District shirt, and Tammy's going to put hers on next week.
Yeah, next week I'll have on mine. But we felt so honored to be
We did.
rewarded for having the opportunity to spend some time down there with two shirts that make us Marion County official, right?
And proud, yes. And I've got to shout out Principal Kim Fogan. I gave her a compliment on her earrings. And next day, what did she do? Bring me a pair of earrings. I said, oh, she's
Yes.
speaking my language. I love jewelry
She
and
does.
earrings. So these are phenomenal. And thank you so much. So if you are looking for a position, Marion County School District is one that we completely endorse. They have phenomenal leaders in their district. So if you're looking for a position or a new home, check out Marion County Schools. They are definitely a great place to work.
For sure. And Dr. Bethay's vision is contagious. So when you get down there and see the passion that she has for the work that she wants to do for the students and the families and that community, you cannot help but be impacted by what she brings to the table. So just very humbled for the opportunity to work alongside her, a very, very phenomenal lady.
Most definitely.
Thank you, Dr. Bethay.
Yes, thank you. And the work that we've been doing and that you've been hearing over the past few weeks, this is what we've been doing with Marion County as well, those systems. And we define systems as effective messaging plus effective processes that equal success over refinement. And the byproduct will be success. But not only that, you will also have trust and that positive culture that is needed. The three systems that we focus on, the framework that you saw in the beginning, there's 5 tiles actually, but we have broken those down into 3 systems: the system of respect, system of leadership, and system of excellence. So
Chick, if you would go back to that first slide,
okay.
want us to make sure that we say this, because this is a very important piece of the actual process of systems and making things systemic when you are thinking from a leadership perspective. That success over refinement is that reflection piece that we are talking to you about all the time. It doesn't stop with success. You have to constantly refine your craft. You have to constantly reflect on what you're doing, make adjustments, and make sure that success can continue to happen by refining those things that you're doing. And if you would go to that next slide, just a footnote so that you can remember when we are thinking about this iceberg, and this is something we talk about when we are working with leaders. You have to realize that this entire image is something that could be completely catastrophic. But when you put those systems in place, the way that we are teaching you how to align the work that you're doing, this does not have to be detrimental. We show you how this can become a very powerful tool for the work that you're doing.
Most definitely. And so this week we are shifting gears. What we're going to be talking about will fit into that system of respect. Um, the topic for today, episode 149, leveraging your education job to achieve financial freedom, is something that one of my former assistant principals has come up with. He's developed a book for this and a guidelines, but it's based off of his own journey. And the reason why this is so important, we were talking just before the show, in a lot of small rural districts, and the one that we serve in Chester County is very similar to Marion. Small rural districts have to have a draw, something that makes them stand out above the larger districts that have a different draw for people. And one of the things that can be a draw for small rural districts is just having the sensibility to be able to think outside of the box. If you are small and rural and there's not a lot more that bureaucracy and red tape that you have to go through for certain decisions, you can make decisions that will have people to be able to be drawn to your district. So one of the things that we're thinking of is that small rural districts could definitely be a place where they support educational entrepreneurs. And that's something that you may not find in the larger districts. So we're going to bring up Mr. Fluellen so he can talk about this, his journey, and how we can do this as educators.
And we say congratulations to you, Mr. Fluellen. We are so proud of you.
Definitely.
Thank you. And good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning and happy Father's Day.
Thank you. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers that may be watching.
Thank you
so much.
So just introduce yourself, Mr. Fluellen. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Rod Fluellen. I was born in Florida, but raised in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. I'm a proud product of South Carolina public education. I was fortunate enough to receive a football scholarship in which I attended Winston-Salem State. And in 2009, I actually became the first college graduate in my family. And that was also the same year I began my career in education as a special education teacher.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. And then since you were in special education, you also served in leadership as well.
Correct. So after about 3 years of being a special education teacher, I decided to go back to get my master's in special education I'm sorry. And then I also went back to school to attain the certification to become administration. And I just currently decided not to return back as an assistant principal, but I have 5 years of experience as an assistant principal.
Okay. And during your time as an assistant principal, you were also an entrepreneur. Tell us about how your entrepreneurship journey got started while you were in education.
All right. So it all started My first year was 2009. Believe it or not, I was a first year teacher with just a bachelor's degree, no previous experience, and I was grossing probably $29,000, in which I was netting $24,000. I was also a single father at that time, so I had to rely on additional income. So I found myself coaching football, basketball, and even coaching wrestling. And I was so lucky to have an administration team that understood my situation, and they actually allowed the team moms to babysit my son on the sideline during practices and games to allow me to coach. But I also had to find a part-time job, because just being a sole person to cover all of those bills, living expenses was extremely tough. And so being in that situation, though, was kind of a blessing in a way, because that kind of sparked my drive to become an entrepreneur, and I can explain how. So as a part-time job, let's say, in order for me to make, say if I'm getting paid $10 an hour, in order for me to make $200, that would require me to work 20 hours. However, I became an entrepreneur, and I was able to set my own price, in which I started a cleaning business. And so I can make $200 on one job, which usually take about 2 hours or less. So I was getting paid more and saving time. And how it ties into me being an educator, one thing about the education that I do like is, you have a set schedule. So when it comes to like Christmas breaks, spring breaks, summer breaks, those are your time to really, really hit the grind in whatever your passion is.
Well, that is awesome. I want to first commend you. And I think this is so appropriate, being Father's Day weekend. A lot of times we hear a lot about single mothers and then the struggle, how that is financially with single mothers, but you don't hear a lot about single fathers, and that exists a lot, just as you've described. So just want to commend you for that. And also, having the wherewithal to be able to start your own business, and having the passion to want to help other people do that. So you mentioned that starting pay when you started out at like $29,000 per year.
First year teacher, yep. With just a bachelor's degree, yep.
And so a lot of districts, this has been a trend, on social media. A lot of districts are showing how they have raised the starting salaries. Some people have raised them to 50,000, in some places is 60, and some 70. And I think maybe I have seen 80 in some places. But I really think that this, is telling when it says the income a family needs to live comfortably in the United States, and this is based on a family of 4. In most places, it requires almost $200,000 per year. And so when we think about, them raising those starting salaries, that is great. That's phenomenal. I'm not going to complain about anybody raising the starting salaries. But when you look at this, to live comfortably in the United States, the way that prices have increased so much, entrepreneurship is almost something that is really required, possibly for a lot of people, or at least some type of second job. So I know that you already mentioned how the hours of an educator in the days, it really suits itself perfectly for entrepreneurship.
It does, but you almost have to, and I applaud you too, Mr. Fluellen. I love that whole passion that you can feel that you had to making sure that your son had what he needed. And I think that is a phenomenal story. Plus, I'd like to just shout out your supervisors who recognized that here's this single father, he's coaching and doing what he can do to do what he needs to do what he has to do. And they're making space for you to have the support that you need. So that's awesome. But I was thinking when you were talking before, and I love it that when you have your own business, you can kind of set your cost and you can set your hours around what's convenient based on what you do full time. But when you look at the chart that we just had up, you can almost have several businesses and still be in poverty, because when you're talking about some of those places like was $277,000,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost impossible to have a teaching salary unless your spouse does something magnificent. If you're single, you really are forced almost into having to do something else.
Right. I'm going to share the video that you put up on your Facebook page that just
Okay.
encompasses what you're doing with your book.
It's awesome and very much needed, Mr. Fluella.
Thank you.
All right, let me go back to it and press play. Here we go.
Over the past 15 years, I have met amazing educators who, like me, unfortunately, have to rely on additional income in order to provide for their families. As a single father, my journey began in 2009 as a first-year special education teacher. Can you imagine being the sole provider, the sole person responsible for covering all living expenses, netting less than $24,000 a year? Needless to say, times were hard. What if I told you, being in a situation of having to rely on additional income is the very thing that propelled my life forward? In the midst of the hard times, I was able to find strength as well as a blueprint to carve financial freedom. In this handbook, not only does it provide insight on my story, it also provides insight on the key functions that I have incorporated on this road for financial freedom. Although this book is entitled How to Over the Past.
And so tell us a little bit about, I know we heard the
Mhm.
intro, just tell us a little bit how this will help educators.
All right. So for starters, it kind of tell about my story a little bit and give like a step-by-step of what I did and to achieve financial freedom. And then it breaks down into the key functions, what I call it, of what I incorporated. And each function I tied into a biblical principle. So the things that I've done, like for example, I started a cleaning business. And like I said earlier, it does require you to work a little extra outside of school. But by me setting my own price for my services, that kind of helps a little bit to dictate how long I have to work after school, if that makes sense. And so I then start cold calling, and I was trying to find contracts, trying to find people who was in need of cleaning services. And so I was actually able to receive enough contracts to cover my main bills. So therefore, when I started cleaning, like my mortgage, car note, electric bill, water bill, I was actually paying that from the money I was making from cleaning. So that freed up my education check. And so what I did was that I started making additional payments towards my mortgage that the house I currently live in. And so once that house was paid off, I was reading, I also educated myself, but I was reading like the number one way to financial freedom is through real estate. So after my house was paid off, from me just making multiple additional payments, I took a refinance. I took a small portion of refinance out of the equity, and I bought rental properties with it. So now I have rental properties, I have a cleaning company, and I still was getting my school check.
That is awesome. And I think you said you were banking that school check to be able to give yourself a cushion in order to exit completely. And now that's how you were a full-time realtor.
Yes. So now I decided to take a step to be a full-time entrepreneur, and it's for several reasons. But one of my main reasons, I truly believe like my calling is to serve the community. And so I was still planning on serving the community, but just in a different way. The school that I'm coming from was in a very transit area, and with stability was an issue for a lot of our kids. We'll have a kid for like 1 or 2 weeks. For whatever reason, that kid has to move, or we'll have a kid move in for about 2 or 3 weeks and then they're gone. So I actually have the vision of helping those students, those parents in that situation find permanent housing
Oh,
via
wow.
dealership. Yep.
That is so awesome. And you even started a nonprofit, the 180 Center, where you're helping them after school.
Correct. Yes, I even started a nonprofit entitled the 180 Community Center. My vision there is to eventually get a building in which students can go to just for tutoring, basketball, playing games, whatever the case may be, just to get them from getting in trouble. As of right now, we started with just a mentorship program, and the mentorship program started with just 8 students, and we now have over 40 students, and we just started this in November of 2023.
That's phenomenal.
It is. And I'm glad you said that you researched that one of the number one ways to wealth is through real estate. I actually started my career in real estate, and I still have my realtor's license, but they're on just that whole status until I reactivate them again. So I think that's phenomenal. And the fact that you're going to be helping educators supplement their incomes, helping them achieve financial freedom, all of that is commendable, and still serving the community through your nonprofit.
Right. And one thing that you did say, when it comes to smaller district, thinking outside the box is not necessarily a bad thing. For if I'm a smaller district, if I'm a superintendent, one thing I might can do is maybe one Saturday a month, I might have a vendor day in which all your entrepreneur teachers come to a school and sell their cakes, earrings, shirts, or whatever, and get the community involved as well. You can even start incorporating students who have the passion to be entrepreneurship, so they can just sell their products.
I love that idea, and that's a way to bridge the community, because I'm sure that there's a lot of entrepreneurs possibly in the community, and we've started something in our district called Parent Empowerment Series. And so one of the ways to empower parents and people in your community is through wealth education and learning about how to become financial freedom, and also about making sure that you know how to leverage your assets, and making sure that everyone has a path to success. So we love this. How can people get your book, Mr. Llewellyn? Because we're running. I think we got a few seconds left now.
All right. So the book is entitled "How to Leverage Your Teaching Job to Achieve Financial Freedom" handbook. It can be purchased on Amazon. Just type in the title, and it should pop up. You have the option of get an ebook or actual paperback book.
Awesome. So please get Mr. Llewellyn's book. I'm going to upload it to we have an Amazon influencers page. I'll upload it there and put that link in the comments when this airs tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us for the Real Academy. I know that Principal Hurt was on fire this morning. We will make sure we tune in to him. Tune in next to Principal Kafele's page. He has a great guest, Dr. Sean Woody.
Oh, yes, and that would be phenomenal. Again, Mr. Llewellyn, keep grinding. You're doing big things, and we are very, very proud of the work and support what you're trying to do to help us all to experience that financial freedom that you've been talking about, as well as to provide homes for children and their families. I think it's phenomenal. And of course, we want to, before we leave, say again, Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And we hope you have a very amazing day tomorrow.
Right.
Most definitely. And don't forget about Josh. This is Super Saturday, but Josh is on Sensational Sunday. So join him for the PGP podcast. And we will see you all again next Saturday. Thank you for joining us.
Till then, guys.